you acknowledge what struggle at the time and its impact on your life, then authentic gratitude can come out. Because some people are overwhelmed with how unhappy their life has turned out. And so, it's easier to say again on the level of ego, the ego self, where I am using the external world to quiet my inner pain. But if we just look at it at one struggle at a time, it actually becomes more, what's the word? More manageable, more digestible, because it's just one at a time. Instead of seeing it as, my life has been so bad, and because my life is so bad, I'm stuck. Look at the struggles one at a time. And in doing so, eventually you will find that gratefulness will surface. So what are some of the points we can emphasize under gratefulness, number 3? The first one is, always choose to stay committed to your personal growth. So do you know how old I am? I'm so cute. I don't know if I'm older or younger than my age. I like friends for the No. I remember even as I was in my early 20s, I always look older than my age. Because I'm tall, I have a big frame. So when I was in my early 20s, I would be mistaken to be in my 30s and 40s. Because of the confidence that I would present myself. And because I look old, more mature. It is very liberating to know that as each year passes, it's just another year to choose to be happy. There are many things about life that make it very heavy. Only if you consider the noise of the external world. But if you look at your life, who you are, there should be a voice telling you that you're worth it, that you're precious, that you're wonderful on your own, regardless of how other people perceive you. Choose to continue to nurture who you are. Be your best friend. And whatever it is that still keeps you hovering around the ego self, let go of it. I think one of the things that I can distinctly share is growing up in that environment was always being compared to my older sister. There are only 2 of us who are female in the family. She's the eldest, my brother, and myself. Then I have 2 younger brothers who come 10 years after me, 10 and 11 years after me. And I was always compared to her because she was prettier and she was more attractive. She's 4 years older than me. Trying to relive those days as I talk about this. Because now I already know I'm pretty. Yeah, those days were not good days. Yeah, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? I remember distinctly, di ba pag nagdadala nakaka-awkward ka, when I was 12, 13, and my sister was already 17, 18, she was really attractive. Really attractive. She would be, her features would be like the model. She's of course Chinese looking like myself. But like the models that you would see on commercials. Very, very, very sexy. And as I grew into my womanhood, naging sexy na ako. Gumanda na rin ako. But I felt trapped. Because I felt pressure to be as attractive as my sister. I felt pressure to be as good-looking as her. And I would be fixated on it, especially during family reunions. Kaya naman, compare ka naman na mataba ako, mas pangit ako, lahat na lang. And it would be really, I would be very vulnerable. Because these were family members telling me that I wasn't as good as her. They weren't strangers. It takes a whole lot of loving the self to say that whatever your family members say doesn't matter. It's hard. Because they, unsolicited, they will tell you, diba? Oh, ang taba mo naman ngayon. Ba't tinanong mo ba? Tinanong mo ba? Kung mataba ako ngayon. Pero pag nakita ka, parang malusog ka. Eh, ano sa'yo? Pero yung family members mo, drop, diba? Those comments left and right. It reached a point where, in my college life, I deliberately gained weight. I deliberately gained weight to just free myself of the pressure. And it helped. Because when I learned to love myself beyond the look, it strengthened my character. It was a weird exercise. But it helped free me of the loud, intimidating expectations of my family. That you will still love yourself despite. That you will still be loyal to yourself despite. And the third point, stay away from people and events that keep you shallow. So, on the level of being grateful and going beyond the pain to reach an area of healing, stay away from people and events that will keep you shallow. So as soon as I see that tita of mine who loves talking to me about my weight, Mati ngayon, tatlo na yung anak ko, gusto pa rin niyang banggitin sa akin na mataba ako. Sige na nga. As soon as I see her, honestly, there are days I can stand her. But there are days I feel vulnerable still. Why? Because it reminds me of how I was when I was young. And they give you those answers. So, be kind to yourself and acknowledge it. That you don't want to be around that tita. I don't like it. So, there are times when she invites for her birthday dinner, and I just say that I'm sick. Because I don't feel like exposing myself to an environment that will make me again shallow. It regresses me. So every time she opens her mouth, I'm waiting for fire. And I'm dodging bullets because it's her and her husband who got into the yard. They're doing it to everyone, not just me, man. In fairness. They're doing it to everyone. They're giving feedback to everyone, unsolicited advice to everyone. So it's more about them than us. Are they popular? They're very unpopular. But then they exist. They're still part of the family. So just stay away from people and events that make you feel you will regress. So I have all respect for people. I have a lot of respect for people who know how to find their own space. Like if they're friends you had when you were in high school or even before that you know are not good for you anymore kasi you don't like who you were when you were with them. You remember your old self. Naku, you don't want to be that person anymore, so you no longer want to see those friends. Because it reminds you how insecure you were when you were still with them. So I have several clients who still talk about seeing friends from before, that when they see those friends, they go home feeling bad. Why? Because it reminded them of who they were when they were still with those friends. Sabi ko, so why do you still see those friends? life is way too short for you to expose yourself to people and events that keep you just on the level of ego. Be surrounded by people who will help you get to know your authentic self. So on the level of awareness and knowledge, personal knowledge, it is important for us to reach that transcendent self where no matter what people say or do, we are fine. No matter what you do to me, I'm fine. No matter what you say to me, I'm fine. No matter what other people interpret, I can sleep well tonight. Because as soon as I feel like I have to explain myself, or justify, or even go alone to keep the peace, then I'm not free.